It's pretty common for people to have a word for the year. And if that's you, no problem. That's just normally not me. What I like to do is form a question that's going to shape my habits for the rest of the year. So I know that makes sense for me. I'm literally a professional question asker as a coach, but the question really can shape our year. And let me give you a question that I believe can shape your 2025. How can you do that lighter? That word lighter, I think, is a relief, like almost breathe a sigh of relief as you hear it. That was part of the subtitle of my book, Anti-Burnout. We need this lighter way to live and lead. Leaders are burdened. Leaders are carrying a large pack uphill, many times feeling like they're going it alone. And I find there are so many things in our packs as leaders that if we just take time to evaluate, maybe take the pack off, to use that analogy, take things out of the pack, we can actually leave those things out of our pack. In his book, Effortless, Greg McKeown, he says this. He says, sometimes we're working twice as hard for half the results. Do you ever feel like that's true? Where you're working twice as hard going, there has to be a better way to do this. Now, let me pause and just say that we live in a heavy world. The macros, I call them, the world of political change, of challenges that are happening at a larger level than us, things like the economy. Those kind of things, of course, we can't change. And we spend a lot of time and energy and stress trying to change those things. What I really get leaders to do, and what I'm focused on myself, is what things can I actually change? So the things that I'm referring to are not the heavy things out there in the world. There are heavy things going on. I'm talking about the things that we make heavier and harder than they need to be. Maybe it could be simpler, but we are making it more complex. How could that thing be lighter? How could that task be lighter? How could that process be lighter? How could that idea carried to completion be lighter? One of the ways that I do that is by drafts. And I just get the first draft out of me, my crappy rough draft. It's okay. And maybe my second draft, I'll tweak it a little bit and then I send it to my team. So that's been one of those ways where I can get the ball rolling and just make it a lighter, easier process. So a couple of my answers for this year, and then let me invite you a little bit deeper. Partnership, number one. I love teams. They are this great multiplier of things in my life. They're a great multiplier of energy for people to take an idea and make it great. You need a team. And when we try to go at it alone, I can tell you that eventually that idea is going to become really heavy. If you think about it, almost nothing great is accomplished on your own. So partnership has always been a big deal, but I'm not doing anything this year without partners in the process. Even things that look like they just have my name on them. I promise you, our incredible team at Stay Forth has been in the process, made those better. The second one for me is filtering for chemistry. This has always been a big deal for me, but this year I am getting very, very, very clear on this. If there's not great chemistry, then I can't work with somebody. Coaching is an inherently relational business. And so for a long haul, if I'm going to be with people for many months or many years as a coach, I need to have that relational chemistry. I need to want to work with them. And there's just something in the chemistry factor. And those are a couple things. What is it for you? And first of all, let me ask, what is that heavy task? That thing that just feels so heavy? Is it writing that book? Is it creating that new product line? Is it starting that new gathering that you just don't know what the steps are and who the people are to start it? And then ask yourself, what's a lighter way to think about this? What's a lighter way to do this? And maybe it's breaking it down in steps. Maybe it is partnering with somebody else, or maybe it's actually taking that idea to your team before you start to spin on it in your head. What is a lighter way to do this? I've had a couple of things that I've done over the years, and when I look back, the reason that they needed to stop is because they had gotten so heavy and so complex. I started them and they were light. Things tend to snowball over time. So I just want to challenge you that if there's something in your life that feels like it's harder than it needs to be, or it feels like it's heavier than it needs to be, then it probably is. What thing has become twice as hard and you're getting half as much effort out of that? That's where pruning can come in. But I believe there's a lot of life here because I think we're overcomplicating it. I think our perfectionism gets in the way. I think excellence moves too much to making sure that this thing has to be perfect before we can get it out into the world. And that's just a lie. I don't think anybody expects that it's going to be perfect. Friends, if you are burdened, if you are creating something in your life that's an expectation of yourself that somebody else doesn't have. You are bound for frustration. You're bound to disappoint yourself. And ultimately, you're not going to do your best work. We want you to live and lead in a lighter way. So ask yourself that question this year. What is a lighter way to do this?